Hi everyone, welcome again to Bake Your Way Kitchen. Today we're doing a very simple, easy recipe. It is a peanut butter pudding, and you'll see how quick and easy it is to put together. What I have here is a heavy saucepan, and what I've done here is simply whisked a few tablespoons of cornstarch with a quarter teaspoon of salt, and all the description and information is down below. So what we're going to do, we're also going to add in half a cup of sugar, granulated sugar. You can just whisk that just really quickly before we turn this on, just to get it all these drier mixtures incorporated, and sugar dust is getting everywhere. Alrighty, so now what we're going to do is turn this on about medium heat. Oh, I'm sorry, I hate when this happens. Here we go. Sometimes my stove, it just keeps making that beeping noise, and it's very annoying. So gradually we're going to add in 2.5 cups of milk into this mixture. It should be gradual because you want it, you want the dry mixture to incorporate through with the milk. You don't want pockets of the dry mixture going through. So make sure you really get those edges, because sometimes those dry pieces can hide there, I guess. So just whisk constantly until it's all in. So yeah. So this would be about 600 milliliters. There we go, we've almost got it all in. And you can use any kind of milk. You could use whole milk, you could use a low fat, you could even use skim, but obviously it's going to be richer if you use a higher fat milk. I mean, you could also use cream, but I mean, that might be a little over the top. So, as you can see, I've got my milk added in here with our dry mixture. And what we're going to do is let this come to a boil and thicken. And then once it's come to a boil and thicken, I'll show you the next step. So our mixture has now come to a boil, and it really has thickened up quite a bit. It's quite amazing. It's the cornstarch that acts as the thickening agent in this recipe. And you'll notice the top gets very bubbly. So that's what you're looking for it to thicken up like that. So now what we're going to do, it's so easy. We simply add a bit of vanilla, and once it comes out, add it just a touch there. And we're going to add in our peanut butter, and this is half a cup, which is 120 grams. Now, about peanut butter, if you've seen in my previous videos, I believe I've mentioned this a couple times, about peanut butter. When you're using it in baking, generally, although I like to use the real stuff, the raw stuff, it's generally not great to use peanut butter in baking. That's like the raw stuff, the natural, because the oils can separate. The store-bought, like Kraft ones, have stabilizers in it to help so that the oils don't separate, causing a mess. Now, I didn't have any, and I really was craving this recipe because I haven't made it in a while, and it's just so good. I smell it right now. But I am trying this, so this is a risk. So I just want to let you know, I would recommend buying the store-bought regular peanut butter for this, but if you have raw, it's better, because it's this dessert won't be overly sweet, because generally the store-bought with stabilizer does have added sugars. So I just want to tell you what I've done. I've lowered the heat, and I'm just stirring constantly for about 2 or 3 minutes. And believe it or not, the rest of the work is done in the fridge, because once this has gone through about 2 or 3 minutes, all we need to do is set this in the fridge for several hours. It's best to do it overnight, but you can do it like 3-4 hours. But definitely at least a few hours, because you want it to thicken up a lot more in the fridge. And yeah, so here you go. That's our peanut butter peanut butter pudding we have here. Now, as an option, if you really are if you're worried about any lumps or if there's any dry bits you see, like any of the cornstarch left behind, there shouldn't be, but if there is, you can sift this mixture to make sure you get rid of any lumps or anything that might cause trouble later on. Alright, so I think this is about time. So what I'm going to do is transfer it into this glass bowl. Okay, so I have now transferred the peanut butter pudding into a glass bowl, and what I'm going to do now is cover it with plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for several hours. Now, as a recommendation, I would recommend that you place the plastic wrap directly on top of the pudding mixture so that it doesn't form a skin. And that's pretty much it. I'll show you what it looks like once it's done. So this is what your peanut butter pudding should look like once you're done. As you can see, it develops a nice thick consistency, and if you give it a try, let's give it a try now and see how it turns out. Oops, this part's gonna drip. Very good. It's got a nice peanut flavor, and it looks like it worked out even with raw nut butter. And that really cuts down a bit on the sweetness because the regular peanut butter does have a lot more sugar. This is really good. Well, wow. Anyway, I hope you give this a try, and I'll see you in the next video.